Tommy Barrett. Tommy, 2-0. It's probably a harsh enough reflection on the scoreline, but when you concede after 48 seconds, one of those games?
Well, look, you can't concede silly goals like that, Mike. The 2 goals were terrible. Fairness to UCD, they probably had the first 20 minutes. After that, I thought we were, we kind of took over a bit in terms of chances even, but I think there was their only shot on target in the second half. We just can't score. And then when you're not scoring like that, and you're not, we're playing some good football, but it's passive. We're not penetrating. We don't have the strikers. Enda probably gets a couple of those when he's in the box. We don't have any strikers at the moment, and it's impacting us. But at the same time, you can't be feeling sorry for yourself if you're down a lot of strikers. You have to keep clean sheets, and you can't concede. Certainly can't concede goals like the way we conceded. They were very poor.
You look back at inside the first minute, game plan goes out the window, but it was very much lack of concentration.
Yeah, it is, in its leadership and organisation as well, in terms of you got to get someone back in front of you there for the throw-in. You've got to track runners. It happened to us last week as well. We speak about it all the time. We tuned out, so that's that lackadaisical kind of approach, and you can't have that. You get punished, and then they're just well organised for the rest of the game. They're physically fit, they're physically strong. Obviously, they're training every day of the week, and you can see that. But it's disappointing to the manner in which we conceded the goals, and it's disappointing that we. We're giving away those silly goals due to lack of concentration and just casualness is not good enough.
You can't buy a win, you can't buy a goal. You did hit the crossbar. If Mark Burns' effort went in, you'd have people queuing to get in the next time. It was an audacious bicycle kick. Very much unlucky in front of goal in that 25 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, I thought that was Liam. Was it Mark? Was it? Sorry, I thought it was Liam with the bicycle, but it would have been brilliant, and we should have scored. Obviously, with the ball scrambling around, and we had a couple of other chances to score. But look, you can't give away goals like that and expect to get anything out of a game. It was just poor, and as we said, we know we're down a lot of attacking players, so we find it difficult to score. So when you find it difficult to score, you have to keep it tight, and we didn't do that. Well, look, we kept it tight in the sense that it wasn't like the Alamo or anything.
They got 3 chances.
They got 3 chances. They got 2 goals. Yeah, and we're getting 3 and 4 chances in the game, and we're not scoring. So that's the difference.
You look back at their second goal, Tommy, and when you look at the video twice, I mean, no player around the treaty player and 2 missed kicks. Is that unacceptable at this level?
Yeah, it's poor. The boys have to. There's no pressure. They have to just try clear open foot. Panicked a bit. Disappointed to see that. And they got to clear the ball better for sure. It's disappointing, but look, we have to dust ourselves down and go again. It's done now, and we have to move on. But we just need more energy out of the lads and more, more kind of just grit, in terms of just hanging on in there for the next few weeks and starting building up results again, getting back to basics. Look, Mike, we've played a lot worse in one games, so we're playing a good style of football. Sometimes that doesn't win you games, but we're missing that target man. We have to play differently. And the boys are playing through the thirds, but when you don't have that target man to put it away, it's difficult because you don't take your chances, you lose or draw. That's what happened again.
When your luck is down, the fixtures aren't very kind to you. 5 games in 13 days, I think, on the horizon. Starts with a trip to Finn Harps. It sounds like you're craving the break to get some players back and some of the injured bodies back, at least in the squad. But nonetheless, the 5 games coming up are going to be really tough.
Yeah, we're going to have to mix up the squad. We're going to have to play different lads, in those games because of the amount of injuries we have. So, yeah, it's not ideal to have those 5 games, but look, you have to deal with it, and it's part of being a League of Ireland footballer. You got to be ready for them, and you got to be physically ready for them, and. Look, I think we've 13 or 14 players there tonight in the squad, under 20. 3 or 4 lads starting like that. So, look, the they'll learn, and we're probably way behind in terms of the physical development of a lot of those lads with UCD who are on the programs for a few years. Our lads are probably only starting the program this year properly, so it might take a few years for those boys to come through. And but in the meantime, we still gotta dig in and show a bit of grit.
Behind the scenes, Tommy, we had players cross channel this week. I think Robbie, Nico, Charlie, Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, there's big clubs looking at young players, so is it right to say be patient with this group?
Well, look, I think you have to be if you're playing young players, and hopefully down the line boys will get moved to full time and that, and we can incrementally grow over the next few years and use those young players. And look, we have to get it's not all the young players' fault either in terms of like the physical and technical, tactical development, but we're way behind a lot of clubs in that sense, because we're 4 years old and we don't have our own training facilities, as you know, and the gym kind of stuff that a lot of clubs have. That academy structure is probably the real focus on that this year. Not that it was neglected by any means in the last number of years, but it's certainly, we have up to training to 3 or 4 times a week for the lads, and hopefully we'll see that come to fruition in the next few years. And they need that contact hours, because a lot of them hadn't got it in the last number of years. They had like a couple of 2 sessions a week and that, and the gym programs weren't as much. But we have to go hard at it in the off season and get 3 or 4 months into these lads in that, because that physicality, you even see there with UCD, they're much more physical than us because they're in there every day. So but that's something that the lads can do off the pitch as well, and maybe we need to look at that too.
Just to finish on a positive, Darren Nwanko should be back in this week. Good to see Colin Connery get back on the pitch tonight. Callum McNamara we haven't seen. Enda could be out a little bit longer. Evan looked like he is still struggling when he was upstairs during the game there. Yusuf Mahdi, you've a huge injury list.
David Tammy, and Willie Amshaw. So look, we have a huge injury list, but again, we're not going to. That's an opportunity then for lads to come in and take place. Do better. Look, Mark Byrne did fine today. In general, he was decent. He was good in the football. Leon had a decent game. He's a bit to learn, going back the way, obviously, tactically as well. But he did well both in the 10 and the when he went up front. From an attacking point of view, he's very, very good, as we know. I thought Robbie had a decent game, in fairness to him. And Corey, Corey does his job, and you can't fault him. Other than that, I'd expect more out of a lot of the rest of the lads, most of them, and the lads that are coming on as well, I'd expect more out of them, and to create that competition with each other. And I've told them that as well. It's important that to do that, to take ownership now, and they're not feeling sorry for themselves because they haven't won in a while. It's the worst thing you can do, and I felt that some of the lads are feeling a bit sorry for themselves at the moment, and they need to get themselves out of that rut now, and we do as well. Obviously, we're in it together. We need to get out of that rut. I'm not throwing the players under the bus here. It's not my style, but it certainly is. We need to get better, and if we can do something better in training and everything else like that as well, we will look to do that. It's an open door policy here, but we have to stay calm, but bring a bit more energy and hunger and grit, I think.